Really, the goal is just to use our stories to bring veterinary medicine to life for the pet caretakers of the world. And we're doing it because we believe that educating these caretakers is the most powerful thing that we can do to improve the life quality of all of the pets that we love. Hello, this is Dr. Natalie Keith
and Dr. Kaitlyn Gregg,
and this is Vet Sales.
Hello.
We're back for another exciting episode on a totally new topic.
Supplements.
Focusing pretty heavily on mushrooms.
Yes.
Because that's like
the newer
it's not new.
No, it's not
But
new.
It's something that we are newly implementing because we are starting to realize the
super amazing benefits of it.
Yeah. I think it's hard. I was thinking about this like just as a concept this morning. Like supplements, we don't use it a lot in Western medicine.
No.
And it's, something I think we're becoming as a culture more aware of the power of supplements, vitamins, minerals, fish oils, mushrooms, things like this.
Yeah.
You hear people starting to add turmeric into their dog's arthritic management plan and so on and so forth. But I think the reason it's hard is because we're a right now society.
Yeah.
I would like this antibiotic to work right now. And the steroid to work
right now.
And fish oils and supplements and mushrooms.
It takes a minute.
And it's subtle. Right.
Yes,
so
it's very subtle.
It's like, and how do you attribute the changes in your overall health to something that's been slowly, progressively building or just improving your overall body function without this right now effect?
Right.
Like
exactly.
I have a headache, I take ibuprofen, headache goes away.
Exactly. And we don't necessarily see like a measurable outside positive effect for it.
Right.
Like we don't always see like, oh, they're so much better now and things like that. But microscopically, they're doing great.
Yeah, you're setting yourself up.
Your cells are doing fantastic.
Yeah, and so you're not getting the sickness to begin with.
Right.
The antibiotic has to treat, if you will.
Exactly, my favorite thing?
An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Pound of cure, yeah, that's my favorite.
So, but we do have studies now that will prove over a large scale of things.
Yep.
Like one of my favorite studies was the Fortiflora study, which is a probiotic.
Yeah.
And it actually was designed to be an antidiarrheal in cats. And then they were using shelter cats to check it. And what they found by accident was there was 85% less outbreaks of upper respiratory herpes virus within the cat population. They're like, well, I'll be jiggered.
Yeah.
Because it turns out if you treat the microbiome, the entire body is healthier.
I wonder why. Oh, I bet it's because 70% of our immune system is in our gut. That's like my favorite factoid now.
I know. I mean, but it's powerful.
It is very powerful.
So anyway.
It's a very powerful statement because if you think about it, 70%, if we can break that down into other ways to look at it, that's average, that's above failing.
Well, 70% of the planet is water.
Yeah.
70% of us is water. I don't know if that's exactly right.
3/4 of our immune system is just in our gut alone.
I mean, and then your skin barrier.
Oh, yeah. And your skin.
Which is just also
another big one.
Massive, which is the first line of defense. But then when things get inside, you need your gut.
Yeah.
So, which is just crazy. So anyway, we just wanted to break down mushrooms.
Yeah.
I just want to say for the record, most of our podcasts are walk around knowledge.
Yes.
So we just fly by the seat of our pants.
Yes.
We have probably noted. We do. We do. Just like we like to talk out these things.
Yeah.
Like a free flowing conversation. But I wanted to show you, I have bullets.
Yes, we do have bullets. We do. Those on the podcast may not be seeing the bullets, but we are Facebook Live right now. So.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, it's okay.
We told the Facebook Livers we were podcasting.
We forgot to tell them.
Yeah.
That's all right.
We're Facebook Live.
All right. But that's why we're showing the really cool.
Look at all those words. They're so tiny.
Our layout. We tried to plan for today.
Yeah. I studied.
Yeah. I wrote down a wonderful sheet. Well, I typed out a sheet, for us to study.
Yeah. So tell us how we got started on this conversation.
Oh, yes. The mushroom conversation. So I'm a huge supplement nerd. If any of you guys have met me yet, you've probably met that. You've found that out, I should say. But I was at a CE at home, but it was through Florida. And I was just listening to these lectures and this supplement mushrooms. I was like, oh, okay, interesting. Mushrooms. What?
Right. Because, mushrooms sounds like a little sketch.
It does. It's like, because unfortunately, a lot of times when you think mushrooms, you think, weird mushrooms.
Yeah, or really toxic
mushrooms.
Yeah.
What?
Like, do not pick a mushroom in the wild.
Exactly.
Like, die.
Yes. And that being said, all of these supplements, it's very important, especially the mushrooms, that they are sourced appropriately because you don't want to give your dog a toxin. Don't go hunting these mushrooms. It's not recommended. It's not safe.
Oh, Lord, help me.
Yeah, please don't do that. But this lecture I was listening to had a lot of really good benefits, not only for puppies, but also for our older pets.
And cancer patients.
Cancer patients, yes.
Yeah, so that's really kind of the three groups we're focusing on.
Yeah, our young, the naive immune system, as we like to say.
Yes.
Our cancer patients. And then also just kind of as a side note too, just those with chronic diseases or those that struggle, like kind of talking about back to that Fortiflora, those cats with the respiratory illnesses.
Yeah.
The mushroom supplement can be helpful for those populations as well, because again, we're going back to that microbiome and the health there. So,
right.
But yeah, that was really how it got started. Was I just was at a CE listening to some lectures and
just got your little mind blown.
Yeah, I did. I got my mind blown. I came into the clinic the next day for our meeting. I was so geeked out. I was.
So then we started doing a lot of research, and I mean, it's valid science.
Yes, it is.
They have the studies backing stuff up.
Yeah, Eastern medicine has been, of course, ahead of us with some of these things.
It's like they did a lot of what they did based off anecdotal results.
Right.
But now Western medicine, because we're very sciencey,
yes,
we have these studies that we're like, okay, we can prove to ourselves now that this isn't just
it's not just a placebo. It's actually
because placebo effect is legit.
Oh,
I mean, it's terrifying what placebo effect can do.
Yes.
But not really in dogs.
No.
Because they don't know.
They don't know. No, they don't know. So luckily but we still have to watch out for ourselves, because sometimes we can still see that placebo in our dogs.
Which is why we measure values and like use force plates to detect their lameness is improving. So you can't be like, I think he's limping less. It's like, no, we measured the force plate and it is actually favoring the leg less. Yes. We're balancing all four legs.
It's not just anecdotal. It's actual measured
science, math,
So, but yeah.
Cool. Okay. So we started in on this mushroom complex. The overview, the benefits, it's a low calorie supplement, high fiber, 0 cholesterol, 0 fat, 0 sodium, loaded with micronutrients. The biggest one that we hear talked about like ad nauseum with mushrooms is the beta-glucans.
Yes.
So you want to dive into those?
Beta-glucans, yes. So beta-glucans are structural components in the cell walls of certain cells. So like our fungi, cereal grains, bacteria, they're polysaccharides, big word, sorry.
Yeah.
But they're polysaccharides that are clinically supported to promote immune system health.
Yeah, they're fiber, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like fiber.
The way that I saw it described, which helped my brain, is like within a mushroom cell or these certain grain cells or whatever, they're like the rebar within concrete.
Yes.
So they're really structurally supportive, and it's a good building block.
Yes. So like think about if you have a big concrete, no rebar, what does the rebar do? It's just that big structural support. So that's what these beta-glucans do. Like that was the best way for me to describe it, like, and how they described it to us. So yeah, I love that. But they help provide that support and structure, so it helps to prevent breakdown of those cells as quickly.
Yes, because just like, every like people, right? Like we all want to age better or less or slower or something. So what you're really asking is for your cells to behave younger, longer. And that's really what this is doing, is slowing the
aging process.
The aging process.
Yeah.
So plus the fiber acts as a prebiotic to the microbiome.
Yes.
Microbiome is all the bacteria in our gut. That is basically the way I think of it, is good bacteria that are keeping the bad guys in check.
Yep.
Because bad guys are going to come through the system, and you need good guys there to be like, no, there's only 5 of you are allowed here or whatever.
Exactly.
And so it keeps this balance of good bacteria in check. And then the bacteria have really important jobs in digestion and so forth.
Yeah, so it enhances that normal growth of those beneficial microbes. Yep.
Yeah. And then your favorite thing, the 70%.
Oh, yeah, the 70%.
Yeah.
Gut health is or 70% of our immune system is in our gut. That is, it's just, I don't know why, but it's my favorite thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not what you think of. Like you think of white blood cells, you think of leukocytes or whatever. And those are kind of like the star of the show.
Yeah.
But really, it's all starting in the gut. And so basically, when you get some kind of foreign invader, like a bad bacteria, E. coli, salmonella, listeria is a great one.
Yeah.
Or a virus that, you might come across, a GI virus, or what we like to call tummy bugs.
Yeah.
What you're hoping is that your gut checks it before your body ever finds out it happened.
Yep. Because
so you don't even
get it.
Yeah.
Get it
before
out.
you ever get sick. Then if it's so much that your gut can't keep it in check, then your neutrophils and leukocytes come in. That's when we get fevers.
Yep.
GI, we start vomiting.
Having those GI signs, vomiting, diarrhea, not fun.
I don't recommend.
So our gut is almost like our first line of defense.
Yeah, at the inside. Because really, when you think about it, the gut is like the inside skin. Can we do that? Like, right, so like on the outside of your body, it's a tube.
Yeah.
And then the inside is a tube too. I mean, Jesus talks about it.
Yeah, it's very true.
There's a scripture about, that when it just passes through, right? It's just another tube that protects everything from the inside.
Right.
So, because it's got to go in, it's got to go out. It's just a tube. And so it's like the inside version of your immune system.
Yeah, it is. That's like...
I've never had that thought before. I just had it live on Facebook. This is why people think we don't prepare, but I did. I just have a very spontaneous brain.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Busy.
Cellular health. Come on. It's bullet 3 under the immune system. Antioxidants.
Yes. Antioxidants, cytoprotectant agents. So what the mushrooms like to do is they support the health of the cells. They increase phagocytosis. So this is a normal cellular process where the cells will engulf, destroy, remove, they clean up. Yeah. Yes.
Pac-Man, exactly. Phagocytosis.
Think Pac-Man, just sitting there, womp, 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 getting those things.
Yeah.
So the mushrooms, they help this. They help with the cellular health of doing these normal functions. It's just like a boost.
Yeah. It's like cleaning the environment of the internal pollutants, right?
Exactly.
So the trash pickup crew.
Yep.
And it also will pick up like diseased cells.
Yes. So
it'll help kill off.
It kills off
warp cells, like little cancer cells. They're like, you don't
belong here.
Yeah, you don't look like everybody else.
So they phagocytose those cells out.
Yeah, that's exactly how
it's really nice. So it helps to prevent cancer cells
from spreading or accumulating, because we all have we all have cancer cells in our body at any given time. It's just your immune system is designed to destroy those cells before they take up shop.
Yep, before they go too crazy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so an underdeveloped immune system, or an immune system that's chronically stressed, will be less likely to fight off those cancer cells and more likely for the body to then have an actual cancer take over the system.
Yep.
So cellular health, antioxidants, increasing phagocytosis. Tell us about the mushrooms themselves. What mushrooms are we using? All of them, right?
All of them. No. So there's actually 3 mushrooms specifically that they have found that have these benefits. So that help with these beta-glucans, the gut health and everything. So we have turkey tail, red reishi, and lion's mane. All 3 of those mushrooms, they all have their own little special benefits.
Little niche.
Yeah. Little just different niche benefits. For example, turkey tail helps with our liver function, bone, muscle, strength. It also has a very high concentration of those beta-glucans.
Yeah, that's kind of its star quality is how many beta-glucans it has.
It is just like the king of beta-glucans. Pardon me, you can't talk today.
Which, again, is giving the prebiotic fiber for the microbiome, so our gut health is...
And it's that rebar, so it's helping with that cellular structure. It's just helping overall with the cell health. It also just helps the microbiome, increases our immune system. Red reishi, funny enough, is called the mushroom of immortality, which if you ever look at the pictures of these mushrooms, they are kind of, turkey tail looks like a normal mushroom, I feel like. Lion's mane
looks like that fan look.
Yeah, it does like a fan.
And it has kind of the color.
Yeah, the color gradient's different.
You can see where it gets its name.
The turkey tail, yeah. And then lion's mane, of course, also gets its name. You can tell where it gets its name. The red reishi one kind of creeps me out, I'm not going to lie.
It is a little creepy.
Yeah. I think it's because it's red.
I mean, because it's just like, where is it getting all that red?
Yeah. But the cool thing about it, and the reason it's called the mushroom of immortality, is it arrests cell growth. So it helps to decrease those malignant cells from replicating and just...
Yeah, so it's like how chemotherapeutics work, actually.
Yeah.
Because what the chemotherapeutics are doing are targeting rapidly reproducing cells, which cancer cells are almost by definition rapidly reproducing, and they don't care if they're doing it well.
No.
I always think of, oh wow, I can't believe I blanked on it. The Lucy show. What am I talking? I love
Lucy. Yeah.
And there's an episode where she's got the chocolate factory.
Oh yes,
that's what's happening with just it's so fast, and you start shoving them in your mouth and in your shirt, whatever.
Exactly.
Because you cannot. The factory is malfunctioned.
Right.
It's spitting out chocolate faster than we can package it.
Eat.
And so and they're just being poorly designed because they're not taking their time.
Right.
And so that's what makes them dangerous because they're not functional cells, and they're taking up the space of what should have been, like, let's say, a functioning liver cell.
Right.
Now it's this really weird, not functioning, inappropriate cancer cell is taking over the space of viable functioning tissue. And so these chemotherapeutics specifically target the rapid growing cells.
They are cytotoxic.
Cells.
Yes.
So it kills a big word. Yes. Cyto meaning cell, toxic meaning toxic, right?
So kill it.
Yeah. And so this ganideric acid within the red reishi is cytotoxic mutated cells.
So it's like a natural chemo, but I don't even want to think of it as chemo because chemo is such a dirty word.
It is a dirty word.
People don't want to think about it.
Yeah, but it's a naturally occur because all of the things that happen with medication should be happening in our body if it were functioning properly.
Correct.
So we're just supporting that natural function.
Yep. Which is...
Yeah. And then it also slows the cell's aging process.
Yes.
So each cell can live longer and do better during the life of its... So it's like us. Like we all want to age well, right? And so all of these cells are aging better, doing their job better longer.
Yep. Like the antioxidants.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, that's the red reishi.
Yeah. Lion's mane, also, again, beta-glucans. The other cool thing about lion's mane, it is a neuroprotective or neurotrophic effects. So it helps with organ function, but also brain function and prevents neurodegeneration,
and can help nerve regrowth after a trauma.
Yes.
Yeah, which is cool.
Which is fantastic. So honestly, one of the things that I thought about when I was reading about lion's mane mushrooms was the pets with seizures.
Oh.
You know, I never...
Well, it's dementia.
Or dementia. Like, it's got to help these pets.
Yeah.
Like, I know that if you've heard about the mushroom supplement, if you've been in the clinic lately, your pet may or may not have cancer or some sort of chronic disease. And that's one reason why we're recommending it. But yeah, I had the thought, like, it might help these kiddos with dementia even.
Well, I mean, yeah. And that, like, your seizures, when you have a seizure, it's this abnormal neural pathway that's misfiring. So, like, what if we could restructure
help
that area?
That too.
Yeah, like if you think of, like, in my mind, it's like, let's say a dam breaks and there's this ton of water and it starts to create this channel that the water routinely flows down, and the channel gets deeper and deeper every time that there's this flood, right? So what if we could rebuild the dam?
Right.
Would be the thought.
Yeah, exactly. And,
and it won't hurt. You might try it.
Can't hurt.
Interestingly, back to the conformation of these mushrooms, this lion's mane, it looks like a brain.
It does.
Instead of looking like a lion's mane. But I'm glad they went with lion's mane, because if they were like brain mushroom, you're like, nah, I don't think I want to eat that.
You're right. I don't think I could stomach it.
But it does. You should look it up. You should look up a picture of
like a brain. You're right. It looks far more similar to a brain than it does a lion's mane. But
like, that's got to mean something.
It does.
Okay. So mushroom complex, though, it's not just mushrooms. What else is in there?
No. So specifically, the mushroom complex that we're talking about is made by a company called Standard Process. And so the one that we use, and it also contains ancient grains as well as bovine colostrum. The ancient grains, specifically, it's Avena strigosa, and there's not a quiz later, so don't worry, you won't have to memorize that.
I was like, I'm gonna make her say that.
I know, right? Ugh. But so it's another source of beta-glucans, and they're a little bit different. So, of course, everything in science and cells, there's subgroups of everything. So the beta-glucans in the ancient oats are a 3 and a 4, whereas the ones for mushrooms, I believe, are 4 and 6.
Yeah.
Excuse me, 3 and 6. 3 and 6. But this unique strain of oats, so these ancient grains, they were dominant back in the old days. They have 90% of and then please excuse me, because I don't know if I can say this word, but it's avenanthromides. Avenanthromides. That's
exactly how it's said.
Yeah,
I am sure of it.
The regular oats do. So
900% more is insane.
900% more. So these...
It's just a type of beta-glucan.
Yeah,
right?
That's all it is.
But it's a special one.
It's their special one. Yeah. It's special because, again, supports GI immune health. Shocker.
Of course.
But it's also an antioxidant. So those oxidizing cells, or like cancerous type cells, the bad cells, it helps to stop that as well. Also natural anti-inflammatory.
Yeah.
So I like that. Again, going back to the natural.
It was talking about it being phytoactive.
Yes.
I don't know. I was going to research that today, and my wellness appointment turned into needing a full mouth extraction.
Yeah.
Because I ran out of time to research what the phytoactive component was. It like how is it phytoactive? Like what stage is it phytoactive?
Yeah.
But essentially that makes it be like, so it decreases itch, inflammation, irritants, because it's decreasing your inflammatory response, like the cytokines that get released when you have an irritation.
Yes.
But I don't understand, like, do you have to be, like, does it have to be exposed to the sun? Or do our cells have to be exposed to the sun?
I don't know.
Like, is it phytoactive because it's decreasing itching and inflammation of the skin?
Or is it phytoactive?
So we'll have to
we'll have to
post in comments.
Yes, we'll have to.
We understand what this phytoactive.
Yes, because I do apologize.
Every day we're learning.
Yeah, we don't know everything, and that's okay.
Yeah,
it's actually a good thing.
That is a good thing. If we knew everything, we'd quit.
Yeah, it would be fun.
We'd be so bored.
Research is fun.
Yeah.
It really is. It's so nerdy, but it's so fun.
I mean, it keeps us going.
Yeah, it does.
Keeps us from neural degeneration.
Right. And again, I'm going to go back and say, like, these aren't regular oats.
Yeah.
These aren't quick oats. These aren't
even like rolled oats.
No, they're not any of those types
lower
of oats.
Calories and carbs.
Like these don't even look like oats in comparison. If you looked at a picture of these ancient oats versus today's oats, they look vastly different.
More seed-like.
They do. They look more, they almost remind me of like grass-ons, like the little stickers.
Oh, yeah.
Or like buckwheat.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have some wild buckwheat out there.
Yeah, and way more minerals and vitamins in concentration. So many of our, like, today's production, the volume that we do, things kind of sometimes get diluted out.
Yes, they do. And it's unfortunate because a lot of it's made just to be quick, quick making. So, like, you don't have to, like...
Back to the right now society.
Yeah, you don't have to cook it for an hour or two. You only have to do 25 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes.
Or 1 minute in the microwave.
Yeah. Don't even get me started.
I won't. Yeah. I know. Added sugar.
The
anyone. All
right. Stuff.
One of these days. Okay.
But yeah, that's just another beta-glucan. And so that was one thing that they did also, which we'll talk more about studies in a minute, but they did have some studies on itching and stuff with dogs, and they saw that this supplement
consistently
did help
improving
for itchy pets. So that's also a plus.
And then colostrum?
Yeah. So colostrum, some of you may know, that's just the first mother's milk, basically. It has all of the immunoglobulins, antibodies, all of the good nutrients, like the best of the best milk, basically. It's like the gold
so
milk.
Rich.
It's like thick, rich, creamy, but it's a rich source of immunoglobulins too. Both macro and micronutrients, as well as immune modulators, growth factors, and proteins, including, I can never
casein,
say thank you,
and whey.
I can never say casein.
It doesn't look like it.
I can never pronounce it correctly.
Yeah.
So it's a good just nutrient, like a good healthy.
It's got a lot of good building blocks in it.
Yes.
So when your immune system is compromised because you're fighting some chronic disease or cancer, or you've got an innate immune system, like, you're already kind of strapped on what, and then if your gut is compromised, you're not absorbing as well what you're eating anyway. And so this is just a super concentrated, compact building block, little
nutrient.
I mean, there's a reason why it's the very first thing that mammals receive upon birth.
We have found, though, that colostrum supports not only the neonates or the really young babies, but also it supports all ages.
You're right. I mean, it works for anything.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be a baby.
No, it doesn't. But babies sure need it.
Oh, yes. Babies definitely.
Plus, babies get all of their maternal antibodies through it, you know, which only works if it's within the same species.
Right.
But anyway. Okay, talk about your studies.
All right. So we have a few studies that we looked at. One of them, the big one, we'll talk about, the cancer one. That's always my favorite, I guess, is they specifically looked at specific types of cancers and pets that were on this mushroom supplement. They didn't have a control group, so they didn't, because that wasn't ethical. They didn't want to have some cancer patients on the supplement not on the supplement.
So it's more like
So they used historical data for this information as far as comparison on mean survival time.
So you say, in our history, we find that hemangiosarcoma patients live this long post-diagnosis.
Yes. In comparison, the pets that were on the mushroom supplements, they live up to 2 months longer, 2 to 3 months longer.
Which, I mean, doesn't sound like a ton.
No,
but
it doesn't.
When you're talking about going from 86 days to up to 120 to 199 days.
Yep. Post
Post-surgery.
Yes, for hemangiosarcoma of the spleen.
Which there, by the way, really isn't a good chemo for, period.
No,
which I think is probably why they tried it on this one.
Yes.
Because we don't have anything to help these dogs.
No, other than removal, and then unfortunately
we do
they
Unveiling and stuff. Which Unveiling is another Eastern medication we use for coagulation control, and it's wildly effective. It is also mushroom-based.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. But anyway, not the topic of today.
That's okay.
But anyway, yes, hemangiosarcoma patients.
Yeah, so without yeah, sorry, I kind of got off.
Statistically, it's a pretty significant change.
It is.
To go from essentially less than 3 months to you're almost doubling your survival time.
And it's not just
with an easy supplement
just
that doesn't make them feel bad.
Yeah, it's just a powder. It's not a capsule. It's not a chewable. It's a powder you just sprinkle on the food once a day. And we'll get into that more, but it's so far every pet I've put it on, cats included, they've liked it.
I haven't had any issues.
Yeah,
with it.
I haven't had any pet turn it down. Now that I say that, someone's going to, but it's okay.
Today.
But yeah, that was one of the studies. The other big study that I really liked, because they went over a few with atopy or itching, allergies, but we didn't get to dive into those like we did vaccine studies. Pardon me.
Which honestly terrified the bejeez out of me. I'm scared.
Me too.
I'm still scared.
And we kind of don't know what to do with this information.
Yeah, I mean, it's like in the grand scheme of veterinary medicine, this is a really early finding.
Yeah.
So it's going to take policies and procedures and protocols a few years to catch up to this kind of stuff.
Exactly. So it's
and some of it comes down to money.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
There's not a lot of studies on these because there's not a lot of money in it.
No,
and that's never mind.
We won't get
Police that one out.
We could talk all day on that. Yeah. I don't know if we should.
No.
So in these vaccine case studies, they did shelter pets. So they did shelter puppies in particular. Protective levels for after a rabies vaccination, but also after their distemper parva vaccination. So our two main core vaccines.
Yes.
Protective levels were seen 1 week sooner in puppies who had received the mushroom supplement compared to those who hadn't received the mushroom.
Which is honestly about in an unmushroom puppied or whatever normal vaccine time response, you're looking at 14 days and they cut that in half.
Yes.
So just for context, if it's it normally takes a year, but this only took 51 weeks. So it's it went from 2 weeks to 1, which is 100% less.
Yeah, that's
50%. How does math work?
50%.
Yeah. 100% longer.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Anyway, it cut it in half.
But the other thing that was a little scary was they looked at rabies. So in particular,
this is where I get terrified.
The puppies. So let's think about this. Shelter puppies, a lot of them have what we call a naive immune system. So they have mothers who have never been vaccinated before. So they don't have antibodies to these diseases.
Back to the colostrum.
Exactly.
They didn't get maternal
antibodies. So these puppies, that they have these naive immune systems. They were giving them the mushroom supplement. The ones that didn't receive the mushroom supplement didn't even have a response of protection to the rabies vaccine.
Which is terrifying because we don't booster rabies in the first year of life. You get one rabies shot and then a year later get another one. And this is a rabies vaccine is supposed to be 100% effective.
Yep.
But these dogs in shelter situations, their bodies are stressed. They've had poor nutrition.
Exactly.
Their microbiome is stinking.
Yep.
They have been exposed to everything under the sun.
They probably had no colostrum or very little or very, I should say, crappy colostrum.
Yeah.
Probably wasn't very loaded.
They might have had colostrum that just didn't have anything to
any immunoglobulins, any antibodies, that mom had because she hasn't received vaccines.
So they get this vaccine and the body's like, listen, I'm busy. I just don't have time.
I have too much to deal with now.
I can't work on yours little side projects.
Exactly. And
because it's a killed virus, so it doesn't have to do anything.
No. And they didn't have any response. No response.
None.
No response.
These dogs that we assumed were rabies vaccinated
had no response. They aren't, and we don't know who they are.
We don't know.
We don't know. So we're still trying to figure out what to do.
Unless you want to do a rabies titer on every dog, which is laughable.
It's
because it's a miracle that they're getting rabies vaccines because it takes government funding to support that.
Yeah, I mean, shelters need as much help as they
I don't
can
know
get.
how
they don't have enough.
I mean, God love them.
Yeah, I know.
It's an uphill battle they climb.
It is.
And so, what you going to do? You can't put every puppy on mushroom supplement.
No, you can't. I don't think there's enough mushrooms.
Honestly.
Maybe, but
maybe. And you're certainly not going to run titers on all these stuff.
No.
So anyway, so that's where we start going, okay, what do we do?
Yeah.
So that's a question that I think is going to start being asked.
Yeah.
And it may come down to just like when you get a puppy
From a shelter.
and it's from a shelter, and then you get it. Yeah, you get it on good nutrition, give it a couple of weeks, let it get its feet underneath it, and then you booster.
Yep.
Because it's really not unsafe to booster it.
No,
The vaccine is
it's not.
tolerated very well.
Very safe vaccine. You can booster rabies frequently if needed. They
Yeah.
do in the military.
Yeah.
Actually a lot. I think like every 3 months.
Interesting. On the dogs?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well,
Something like that.
Okay.
I could be making that timeline up a little bit, but yeah.
Dr. Trussell might know. He used to work on the base.
I think that's actually where I got that information was from Dr. Trussell.
Oh, that would make sense.
So it could be old knowledge too.
Yeah, because in his days in the military, were
I didn't say that.
That's just kidding.
I didn't say that.
It was just 20 years. It's not long. Oh my God.
In the grand scheme of things.
All right. Okay. So that's the end of the studies.
Yeah.
Will you go over the warning label one more time?
Oh, yes. The warning label. Let's go over this one more time. It's important, again, to obtain mushrooms and mushroom extracts from reputable providers.
Yeah.
Never munch on a hunch. That was my favorite saying that they said. Whenever you go mushroom hunting, never munch on a hunch.
Okay. So how do people know if it's like...
So, yes. Oh, yes. So one of the things that and again, if you know me, you've heard me harp on this, supplements, it's really important. So they're not regulated. Yeah. That goes for human supplements too, guys. Yeah. So if you're taking a multivitamin and there is not a third-party quality control seal, so if they're not paying for a third company to
evaluate the contents
and look into it, make sure what they say is in it is actually what's in it, that supplement is garbage to me. Because
unlike a medication, it is not regulated.
Correct.
We don't have to go through the FDA or the DEA.
Nope.
It is just on the honor system.
Yes. And unfortunately, there are bad people out there, and there are people who just want to make a quick buck. So for animals, especially because I'm not a human doctor by any means, make sure that there is that third-party quality control seal on there. So a lot of pets supplements will say NASC, stands for National Animal Supplement something. I honestly, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Maybe. I wish we had brought in a bottle so we could show the
I know.
That seal looks like.
It's yellow and it's NASC, but it's very obvious, and companies are proud of it when they have that on there, as they should be, because they're paid
going
for that.
Through the effort to guarantee that what they said was in there is
what's actually in there. And so you want to make sure that no matter what supplement it is, whether it's mushroom supplements, whether it's glucosamine, chondroitin, fish oils,
anything that is not labeled to treat a disease is technically called a supplement, and therefore does not undergo the same type of testing or regulation.
So make sure it has that third-party quality control seal. I cannot stress that enough. I know it may sound silly, but it's important because you don't want to waste your money on something that's not going to be helpful.
Well, I mean, not only that, it could have things in it that aren't supposed to be in it. It could actually do more harm than good, like heavy metals and
things like that. They don't have to look for those things because no one's checking it. So just make sure that it has and it doesn't have to be the NASC, but that is the big one for pet supplements specifically. So that's why I mentioned that company.
Yeah, cool.
Or that council.
So we're going to do something new today that was recommended to me by a very smart person.
Yes.
I know. He said we should conclude our podcast in a consistent way.
Yes.
So we're going to do some questions. We're going to do 3, and we're going to try it. This person also recommended that I try it before we did it live, and that's not what's going to happen because that's not how I roll.
That's not how we roll.
What do we do, Dr. Gregg? Number 1. What do we do with this information?
What do we do with this information? So hold on to this. I mean, if you
because it's easy to let it slip out of the back of your mind.
Yes,
I do.
It's so easy. Yeah, and like a lot of kiddos, like a lot of you have young pets. They don't necessarily need this supplement. I mean, I'm not saying that they couldn't benefit from it.
Like your 2-year-old, 4-year-old, healthy, running around doing great.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But if you have a kiddo who has, chronic upper respiratory infections like cats, or say you have a feral cat colony, that you can't touch or medicate them. That was the other study I forgot to mention. This mushroom supplement helps the immune system, so it helps them fight these diseases, clear these infections faster. And it's really great. So even for those pets that you may not even necessarily be able to touch outside, you can give them, sprinkle it on top of the food. It's real easy, real quick. Cancer patients, definitely start them on it. I mean, every day, unfortunately, we have cancer patients and people ask, what is there to do? Because
especially when your chemotherapy isn't really a viable option.
Right. And it's expensive and not every pet can tolerate
not always
chemo.
effective.
And not all cancers like the sarcoma.
Yeah.
They don't respond to chemo. They don't have a specific chemo that treats it. Do this mushroom supplement. It's very effective. It's safe.
Yeah. So your chronic sick kids, cancer patients, and
even
the babies.
Yeah, the babies, kittens. It's only going to help those vaccine responses. It's great. So
So keep the information in your mind. Hold on to it.
And if you already have these kiddos with these
immediately start looking at your options. Ask your veterinarian about it if we aren't your veterinarian.
Yes. And you can also go to Standard Process. Again, they're not paying us or sponsoring us or anything for this video, but that's the company we use for our mushroom supplement that we carry on the shelf. You can go to their website and order the mushroom complex directly from them.
Which, kind of gets into questions 2 and 3. So,
oh, yes.
How does this apply and to whom? So it applies to veterinarians.
Yes.
But it applies to you as an owner as well, which is what Dr. Gregg was saying. Like, take action yourself on this. Like, you don't have to go through your veterinarian, but you certainly can.
Yes.
And it applies, again, to your puppies, chronic sick kids, and cancer patients.
And I want to kind of backtrack a little bit, because if we are not your vet and if your pet's on a lot of different medications, call just in case, make sure that, this isn't going to affect any weird thing. Because off the top of my head, I don't know of any medicine that this would counteract with.
But your veterinarian needs to know.
Yeah.
When we ask is your pet on any medication, we're asking about supplements too.
Because it does matter. Some supplements can affect medications. So it's always good to know.
And then the last thing, where can you get more information on this?
Yes. So again, I kind of jumped ahead, but Standard Process. So it's M as in monkey, D as in dog, .standardprocess.com. That's where you can order the specific supplement that we carry. There's other ones too. Zesty Paws, they make a mushroom supplement as well. Yeah, I found that out the other day. Okay. And they also have the NASC logo on there.
Yeah, and they
That's
do some good fish oils and glucosamine ones as well, which
they
we didn't
have
hardly
good
dive.
Supplements.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We barely even touched on those things.
Oh, yeah. We wanted to, but
another day. We'll
got kind of worried, but that's all right.
It's just a lot.
It is. It's a lot. There's a lot of benefits that these mushroom supplements can do. Yeah. Again, don't munch on a hunch, though.
Yeah, and I liked how you did the monkey and dog to describe md.standardprocess.com. Yeah, so check it out there. If you have questions, always feel free to reach out to us as well, but that's where you can get some more information. And that is the conclusion of this podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. I know it's been a long one, so hopefully you got something out of it, and we're grateful for y'all.
Yeah, thanks for staying and watching.
Bye.
Bye.